My name is Brian Barczyk. I've been working with exotic animals for over 25 years. I'm no zoologist, just a guy with a passion for animals. And that passion often takes me on animal adventures around the world. This week, I'm in Australia on a 12-day adventure that's going to take me from New South Wales to Queensland all the way up to the Northern Territory. There'll be plenty of awesome animal adventures on the way. You're watching Snake Bites. After a long 23-hour plane ride, I arrived in Sydney, Australia. Sydney is the most populated city in all of Australia with 4.6 million inhabitants, affectionately referred to as Sydneysiders. Sydney was the first of the British colonies established here in 1788 by Captain Arthur Phillip of the First Fleet. And as most people know, it was founded as a British penal colony. I tell you, it's not every day that you get to swim with fly river turtles. I'm at Greg Miles right now, and they've always been one of my favorite turtles. And we can actually go in and try to play with them a little bit. This is going to be an awesome experience. Let's go see what we can find. Greg Miles has an awesome series of ponds built right here in his backyard. This might be the only place in the entire world where you can swim with captive fly rivers. These turtles are unlike any other species of freshwater turtle, having flippers as feet, which makes them resemble the marine turtle. They also have nostrils at the end of a fleshy snout, which makes them look like a pig, hence their other common name, the pig-nosed turtle. Swimming beside these amazing creatures was an experience like no other. They gracefully swim through the water with what seems like no effort. They're cute little buggers, aren't they? Greg is one of the few people in the entire world that have captive bred these turtles. Adults need to be nearly 18 years old before they're mature enough to breed. Once they do breed, they lay their eggs in the dry season on the sandy banks, and the fully developed babies will stay inside the eggs in a hibernative state until the floods come and trigger them to hatch. What an amazing animal! Take a look at this beautiful pig nose, or fly river turtle. It's been an amazing adventure just swimming around with these guys for the last half hour. It's just such a unique animal and so beautiful. Definitely an experience I'll never forget. What Australian reptile has Brian always wanted to work with but never has? A. Woma pythons, B. Black-headed pythons, or C. Australian frilled necks? Go ahead and answer down below in the comments and check back later in the show to see if you have the correct answer. In this week's Reptile Report, we'll be highlighting venomous snakes. Go ahead and check out the URL down below or click on the link in the description. So here it is, the next leg of our adventure at the iconic Australian Zoo. Steve Irwin had such an impact on myself along with millions of others. This tribute at the zoo is always a hard one to swallow, but so touching. He left such an amazing legacy behind, and this zoo he loves so much is certainly a representation of his passion for wildlife. The zoo has so many iconic Australian animals, not to mention exotic animals from around the world. You knew I wasn't going to do this show without showing one of my favorite animals, the giraffe. And then there's the Crocosaurium. This was Steve's dream, a place where he could personally show the world his passion for crocodiles. Although the Croc Show was amazing, I had to wonder what it must have been like seeing Steve Irwin perform here. Here's a skeleton of their famous reticulated python that was kept here for many years and made several appearances on Steve's Croc Hunter TV show. Their serpentarium was so impressive, with the majority of the native reptiles represented here. Each animal was one of the nicest specimens I'd ever seen for that species. Next up, a visit to Steve's dad's place, Bob Irwin's Camp Chili. I'm here at Camp Chile with Bob Irwin, of course the founder of the Australian Zoo and the Bob Irwin Wildlife Foundation. But today we have a kind of special thing. What do you got for me, Bob?
Brian, I've got a native carpet python here that has to be released. This little python was going to eat one of our king parrots, and I decided that I wouldn't allow that to happen. So we've just brought this out into a nice part of Camp Chile, and I would ask you to release it if you wouldn't mind. So here's a present from me, Brian, and there is a chance, because this is not a captive bred snake, that you may receive a little bite.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time,
no,
Bob.
I'm sure it wouldn't.
I love catching snakes, and I've been all over the world catching them, but releasing them is by far my favorite thing. So thank you for letting me be a part of this, and let's go ahead and see what we can do here, guys. Now, I've been working with carpet pythons for a lot of years, and they're one of my favorite snakes, to be honest with you. Of course, we're in Queensland, so these are the Queensland or coastal carpet pythons. And look at this beauty right here. It's not too often that I've been able to hold a wild carpet python, and this thing is absolutely gorgeous, and it's going to be quite amazing to set this little guy free. It's just kind of cool to know that tonight this guy is going to go on his own into the wild. I'm just so excited to be a part of this. Come on, little bugger. This is a really perfect area where he's going to probably find refuge, and you can see he's a little fired up. Well, that's okay. I would be too if I had pulled out of the wild, but again, he's being relocated into a position where he's not going to eat any of the family pets. He's going to go along in his way. What an amazing, amazing animal, huh? I had to reflect on this moment. I wonder how many snakes Steve Irwin and his dad had captured and released together. Wow, something I'll never forget. Bob Irwin is always such an amazing host and took time with everyone in our group, showing us his love for all of nature. His message to protect wildlife is beyond inspiring. I'm here on the next Australian leg of my adventure at the Taronga Zoo, which is one of the bigger zoos in Australia, right in the city of Sydney. Some cool animals here. Let's go inside and check it out. The first thing that really gets you when visiting Taronga is the fact that the backdrop is the city of Sydney. It's surreal to see giraffes and elephants, and in the background, the skyline of the largest city in Australia. Taronga was opened in October of 1916 on 52 acres and is home to over 2,600 animals of 340 species. Just like the Australia Zoo, the reptile section was extremely impressive with native and exotics. I could have probably spent my entire day in this section, but there's always more adventure to see. As we boat across the Sydney Harbour with the famous Opera House in the foreground, my adventure comes to a close. My love for Australia is strong, and I just can't wait to get back to my second home. What Australian reptile has Brian always wanted to work with but never has? If you said B, black-headed pythons, you're 100% correct. Good job.
Hey guys, I know I've asked you before how early is too early to start decorating for Christmas. And now I want to know, how late is too late to keep your Christmas decorations up? Because I've got neighbors who still have decorations up, big light up Santas and Christmas lights. I want to know what you guys think. Leave a comment below.
So there it is. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. What an amazing time we had going all across Australia. I'm certainly going to miss it here, and I can't wait to come back. And as always, I was Facebook and tweeting my adventures the whole time. So make sure to follow me over at SnakeBytesTV. Until next week, you've been watching Snake Bites.